Well, hello! Welcome back to my channel. Just Shauna here to talk about a friggin' book. This book was on my anticipated releases for 2021 list for adult. And this one is sci-fi. So I was a little hesitant, like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this. But the premise just sounded really great. So I wanted to check it out, and I was approved for a NetGalley eARC. And I just finished it 2 days ago. This is by Everina Maxwell, and I did learn, I didn't know this prior to reading it, but that this originally was fan fiction on, what is the thing, AOS? Is that the thing? I don't know. I've never read it or been to the site, but it was originally fan fiction there. We have a Prince Kim and then a foreign diplomat, Jinan. He is from a vassal planet in this universe, and the planet that Kim is a prince for is kind of the ruling planet. These two have an arranged marriage set up, which is part of this larger galaxy treaty agreement, and this happens after Jinan's first husband, Tam, dies in an accident. And then it comes to light that the accident may have actually been murder, and Jinan is suspect number one. So Kim and Jinan have to try to figure out what is going on. Also to keep the treaty in place, because it's very important, especially for Jinan's planet. And then also stop a potential war from happening, all while navigating this new relationship that they were forced into. So with my new review structure, the first thing I'm going to talk about is characters. Did I enjoy the characters? Did I feel like they were complex, nuanced, interesting, etc.? Did I get invested in them? So I did quite enjoy the characters, despite the fact that we have a bit of a lack of communication trope and a bit of, not necessarily miscommunication, but not understanding each other and making assumptions about each other. And you guys know, these types of things drive me fucking crazy in books. I can't stand it usually. And there were definitely points where this got quite obnoxious to me, but I also understood why it was happening. It made sense. Also, it wasn't for the entirety of the book. It was like the first 50%. And then from there on, it was fine. But yeah, there were reasons for it. They don't know each other. They both were forced into this, and it's like they both feel bad for the other person and don't realize that the other person feels bad for them too. Do you know what I mean? So like the one guy, they're both just thinking, I just want to make sure he's happy. He's being forced into this. He doesn't want to do this. He probably doesn't like me. He probably isn't attracted to me. And then because they're both so nervous about this, they're being standoffish with each other, and they're trying not to like push the boundaries, even though they are both attracted to each other, but they don't want to like force it, or, you know what I mean, make that person feel like they're obligated to do anything or kiss me or touch me. So like shit like, oh, they might brush hands and one will like pull away really fast. And the other one is like, oh, see, he thinks I'm grotesque. Where in the other one's head, he's thinking, oh God, I didn't mean to like push him like that. I don't want to force him and whatever. You know, so it was a little obnoxious. It got a little tedious towards the end of that whole thing. But again, it was pretty much resolved about halfway through the book, and it makes sense. They don't know each other. And especially Jinan, he is kind of he's the one with less power in this arrangement. His vassal planet has to keep in this treaty and has to basically please the imperialistic planet that Kim is a prince to. So it made sense why they were being like this. Jinan is a precious soul, and Kim is just this charismatic, fun, can talk to anybody type of guy, and I just really liked their dynamic together as well. And there's a couple side characters that are really fun also. Belle, I love Belle. And then I think it was Gairad. She was also really great. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the characters for sure. And then for world building, did I think the world building was good, well crafted, made sense, described well, all of that? For me personally, I would say yes, but also it wasn't super descriptive. and super thorough, but I didn't mind it because, again, if you know me, you know that sci-fi isn't always my jam. I tend to struggle. My brain, I'm a smart person in a lot of ways. I think I'm a very intelligent person in a lot of ways. But when it comes to scientific jargon and shit being thrown at me, my brain says no, thank you. And so, like I said, we have the vassal planets, and there's a bunch of them, and we did have mention of them and mentions of their cultures and how their cultures were different. And even on the Iskat is the name of Kiem's planet, the planet that we are on. On Iskat, they have ways of expressing gender that are different on other planets. Like, it seems like each planet has a way of expressing gender, gender identity. And on Iskat, it was via like ornamentation. So I can't remember now what it was, but you either wore wood, iron, or glass or crystals, I want to say. And one represented that you identified as male, one represented that you identified as female, and one represented that you identified as non-binary or gender fluid, or, that category, that larger category. So, someone would have like a wooden comb in their hair, and that would indicate that they were a woman or what have you. I can't remember the specifications, but so there were mentions of things like that. So the world building was enough for me, but I definitely think that if someone is a real big sci-fi reader and really likes getting into the nitty-gritty of this galaxy, you might be disappointed. I wasn't disappointed necessarily, so it didn't bother me a heck of a lot. And then for writing style or authorial voice, I'm lumping those in together. This one, it was fine. There wasn't anything remarkable about this authorial voice to me, but it wasn't like one way or the other. There was nothing that stuck out as being like, oh, this is annoying, or, oh, wow, this is so amazing. I'm loving this. It was fine. For logical plot and then also pacing, did I feel that it was good? Did I feel the pacing made sense and worked for me? Did the plot make sense, in my opinion? The pacing did feel good for me. It was a little fast at times, but it didn't necessarily bother me. Again, sci-fi, I struggle sometimes with my interest being kept because I'm getting bogged down by a lot of things. This one had stuff happening all the time, so I kind of appreciated that. There was a lot of politicking and scheming about these grand conspiracies that they were discovering, and I personally felt like it all made sense. There wasn't anything that happened that made me go, wait, what? Why are we doing this? But again, with the sci-fi, there wasn't a lot of sci-fi jargon necessarily, but there was some. And I think maybe if you're really into it, you might have noticed things that I didn't notice. But for me personally, it was good. It all made sense to me. Themes that I gathered from this book. So we have a character, without getting into spoilers, there is a character present in the book who was a victim of domestic abuse, emotional and physical abuse. So content warning for that. There's nothing really explicitly on the page. There are, I think, 2 or 3 scenes where we are seeing it on the page. A little bit of physical stuff, nothing drastic, but there is a physical altercation. And then you also get a little glimpse of the emotional abuse and control that this person was wielding over them. So you definitely see that. What you see more of are the after effects of having been through that abuse. This person being quite, twitchy, I would say, like very nervous, a little bit paranoid of upsetting others, feeling like they need to manage other people's moods all the time. And a lot of it, like as soon as I saw it, I said, oh, I know what's happening here. And I mean, it's probably pretty apparent to anyone, but certainly having been through that before and knowing very intimately that feeling of trying to manage your partner's moods and, oh no, what's this going to be like when we go home? What's this going to be like when we get in private? I definitely saw all of that and recognized it immediately. And it could be a little difficult depending on your sensitivity level to that if you have been through that, Because like I said, immediately I was like, I know that feeling. I know what that feels like. So if you're very sensitive to that, be forewarned that that is a thing. I felt like it was done really well. Again, I mean, I obviously related to it, and I felt like that representation, I guess, of someone having been through that type of abuse was very realistic and accurate from my experience. Also, definitely themes of colonization and imperialism, both the negatives of that and what that means for, in this case, the planet, but in our world, it would be a country, you know. What it means for the planet that got colonized, essentially. And also some themes of kind of what to do, how to handle it when you realize that maybe your government, your country, your planet in this case, is not doing the best things, when there might be some really large conspiracy happening that needs to be outed despite you maybe getting some negative repercussions from it. Like, what do you do? What moral obligation do you have? And then the final category is, was it a good time? Did I have a good time reading this? And I would say yes, I generally had a good time. As I said, there were a couple of instances where the communication shit was getting a little like, oh my God, you guys, stop making these assumptions about each other and just fucking talk, my God. And the pacing again was pretty fast, so my interest was kept. So that was good. So yeah, I had a generally good time with it. Not blown away by it necessarily, but a pretty solid time. So for that reason, I gave this one a 3.75, which is part of my liked it a lot, but didn't love. But it's like it's right there. I had a fun time. I really liked these characters. Let me know down below if you are interested in this one, if you think you might be picking it up. I think I can solidly and confidently say that if you tend to read more young adult and maybe have read some sci-fi young adult and want to get into adult, I think that this one would be a good one and you'd probably enjoy it. Because like I said, if you're looking for real hard sci-fi, intense world building and all of this, and that's what you're used to, you might not love this one, but if you're not used to that, then I think you would probably have a good time with this. As always, thank you so much for your time. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.